Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Logan, and thank you very much for the invite to talk at Brewed. And I'm going to talk very briefly this afternoon about careers in the curriculum. You can follow me on Twitter at Stephen Logan, and I'm also going to talk about National Careers Week this afternoon. So just to give you a very brief overview of what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to do a little bit of a brief introduction, set some context, where we are now with careers, some of the challenges, careers within the curriculum, and I'm just going to talk through some of the 3 resources that will be available and are available for National Careers Week currently. So the first thing to say really is I've seen some absolutely fantastic presentations today, and that's the first quick question is why are you here? Well, really, it's about sharing and expanding our external network and partnerships. It's about learning from each other. It's about collaborating. It's about sharing, and it's about growing. And that's all about careers, isn't it? Because in our careers, building external networks and partnerships is as important as teachers, leaders, support staff, and colleagues in the current situation we find ourselves in. My experience, and it's not about titles for me, it's not about egos, and it's not about chasing the next qualification or the next title, but I just wanted to set the scene with some context. So I'm a deputy head teacher in Mallet Lambert School within the fantastic trust of the Education Alliance. I have a master's in education. One of my elements of my master's in education was looking at careers education. It's something I'm very, very passionate about. I undertook the Teacher Development Trust CPD Leadership Programme a couple of years ago. I'm a specialist leader of education, and I am currently working on the Ambition Future Leaders Cohort 2019. So just to give you some context, I am also the strategic lead for careers in the school, as well as leading on the curriculum. So in terms of, I'm always learning. I'm really keen to, if you're watching this presentation, to interact, some feedback, some challenge. Really important that we continue to learn as leaders and teachers, because I think it's so important. So consider this, and it's one that I'm very, very passionate about careers. I believe it's absolutely underpins everything we do in a school. But whose responsibility is it? And that's an interesting question, because let's be clear, we can all remember when we think of careers, and people always say, do you remember that careers interview I had and it was absolutely awful, and that's the only careers interaction I've had ever in a school. We all remember that. We think of careers as one thing, one element, but actually everything we do underpins careers. And I think it's that perception of defining what a career is, because it's ever changing. So how as teachers can we contribute for careers in the curriculum? How many students have you inspired to pursue a career and progression route in the subject you actually teach? For example, I teach business studies and IT. I have students that have gone on to do fantastic things in terms of their careers, as well study business studies at the highest level. And that does link back sometimes where we don't celebrate those success stories, where we as teachers have that impact on young people, where they actually get passionate about our subject from what we are undertaking. And I think that's really, really important thing to say, that do we realise the impact we're having to enable a young person to pursue that particular area or that particular subject, because our passion for that comes across. And the key question I want to consider this afternoon is, how do we best prepare students for an uncertain future? We live in very, very challenging times at the moment. We've all shifted to remote learning to see in, the start of 2021. The challenges are real in terms of careers, in terms of progression, in terms of skills, in terms of knowledge. And these are questions we're going to have to grapple with over the coming weeks and months. So I think culture is important. And, you're probably thinking, well, how does culture relate to careers in the curriculum? If you get the culture right, then things happen. If you set, culture, eat strategy for breakfast. If you get the culture right, colleagues buy into it and they want to contribute to it. But you've got to have the systems and the structures in place to enable that to happen. And it doesn't just sit with me. I play a very, very small part of it. But sometimes my role is about removing barriers, and also about ensuring that behind, I know examinations have changed in terms of, they've been cancelled for next week. And also as well, it's going to be different again, like it was last year. We had centre assessed grades, we're going to have teacher assessed grades. I firmly believe that careers education is really, really important within this, as we support young people into the transition to the next stage of education or training. So that is going to present some challenges. And let's be clear as well, the importance of one-to-one guidance, the importance of pastoral support, lots of uncertainty for young people as they transition through from college to training providers to apprenticeships to universities. So it's really, really important to get this culture right in the tone. And I will mention great teaching, because great teaching unlocks potential in young people to achieve their future. You cannot do that without getting great outcomes for young people. And that comes from teaching the curriculum really, really well, that knowledge and skills, that pedagogical content, that quality of classroom instruction, the behavior, the classroom climate, the relationships, the expectations, also the beliefs around the subject in learning and teaching, and that wider elements of, like you're doing today, professional development, wanting to improve. So careers links to that. By being a great teacher, you're contributing to someone's career because you're enabling them to have that, English, maths, those science, that knowledge that they need to be able then to go and pursue a career in that particular area. Because we are going to have to think about the old way versus a new way. And I'm not being radical this afternoon, but I think we're going to have to rethink some of the things we do in school. We currently can't get businesses into school currently. We're open to critical workers, vulnerable children, children with special educational needs. When children come back to school, that's going to be a real challenge, because one of the things we've done as a school at Mallet is we've had lots of visitors in to talk to young people, and that's going to have to change. But there are opportunities there in terms of, we're doing remote education now, remote careers, online careers. I know it's not the same as those physical interactions and one-to-one conversations. So we are going to have to think about old ways of thinking and new ways of thinking. Because let's be clear, schools, leaders, support staff, teachers, the whole community, everyone stepped up, because when the world is at its toughest, we soon find those who never hide. Those people that just do go above and beyond and have gone above and beyond, and who continue to do a fantastic job in supporting young people. And that's so, so important. And it's important we acknowledge that, because there are leaders and teachers and support colleagues and communities up and down the country working together for our young people, all together collaborating, sharing, and working together to help them with their futures. Because it is about moral purpose, because it is about looking at those pupils that have disadvantaged backgrounds, who don't have those networks, who don't have parents who maybe have had challenges and so on. And we need to support them with that, because that's where we look at our moral purpose as leaders. And careers education makes a big impact on young people. And we know that in terms of great teaching, great careers education enables them to go on and do great things. And it's important we look at where our resource is and how we target that resource to the ones that need it the most. So we are going to have to think about how we do things differently. When I put this presentation together this afternoon, I'm already thinking, how do we do things differently? The things we've undertaken before just aren't going to work in the current circumstance and climate we find ourselves in. So we are going to have to think about how we do careers in the curriculum differently. And I think it comes down to, I know it's about careers in the curriculum, but what are your values and what's your why? I really, that's one of my values, careers education. It's really important in everything that I do, in every aspect of my role in school, in terms of, the systems, the structure, the people, the curriculum. For example, all of our Year 9 guided choices is going to go online digitally. There'll be a careers element within that. And that drives decision making as a leader. And I think that's important to say this is one of my core values. And this role has come with me over the years. So I did start off as a careers coordinator. I did a number of roles involving engaging with businesses. And as deputy, I feel it underpins that curriculum in terms of its supporting young people with knowledge and skills and able to go on and do great things. Because values determine who we are as leaders. And they're not just something that's just written on a wall. They're not just something that's just kind of, we kind of refer back to them now and again. It's how we play out in the everyday decision making of what we do and why we do it. And it's really important to acknowledge that, because it drives decision making. Because if you stand for nothing, you fall for everything. And that's important to say that in the current and challenging times that we live in. Understand our values, understanding the decisions we make, and be prepared to stick with those and make difficult decisions, as well as championing young people. And young people are amazing in all of this. We talk about remote education, young people engaging, working hard, despite all the challenges. So that's important that we understand what we value. Because if we stand for nothing, as I've said, you'll fall for anything. And it's living your values every day when it gets really, really tough. And it is really tough at the moment. Let's make no bones about it. But underpinning that, we've got to think about, ourselves, our own well-being, and our own careers, because that's important, our own careers and how we help others to develop their careers, both in school, colleagues who may want to get to that next stage, who may want some time, who may want to go on that particular course because maybe it might be more accessible online. So we need to think about how we live our values through very, very tough times. So I want to talk about some of the challenges that this is a slide from Phil Jones. Phil Jones is an amazing guy from Brother UK, managing director. A number of years ago, he came in and talked in the school about, it was actually about STEM and STEAM. So your science, technology, engineering, arts and maths. And he talked about what does the future hold for young people. So you look at debt, renting, not owning, lots of change, stable or uncertain futures, pension poor, suffering this info obesity, that whole thing of being online all the time, connected, robots, and all of this. An interesting one from 3 years ago when Phil came in, nomadic working. We're there now, aren't we? We're working from home. So these are some of the challenges that young people face, as well as that kind of death of the job for life, baby boomer versus millennials. By the way, what I'm not saying here is not being all radical going, right, we're going to have to change everything we do in the curriculum because of all these things I'm talking through. Students need knowledge, but they need skills to go with it. They do need that underpinning knowledge of great pedagogy, teaching and learning. And this is not about going all new age of, they're going to have to do all these jobs that don't exist yet. I think we can debate that one, we can challenge that one all we want, but things have changed. And the way that we work has changed, both for us as educators, but both in terms of the business community as well. So you think of a young person going into the careers market, it can be very, very uncertain and very, very challenging currently. So we're going to have to think about how we help them and support them through those challenges. And that comes back to that great teaching and learning that colleagues do, and that great pastoral support that helps them to then enable them to have that support to go on and do great things and find out what they're great at. So in terms of, there's a lot of things online. A lot of people debate this. So we said, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, I didn't know at 15. Did you? At 11, didn't have a clue. At 18, didn't have a clue. I actually ended up doing a job, managing a hotel at 19, did a business degree. Ended up going and working in supermarkets as part of the graduate training program, because we find out sometimes by doing things that we don't like, what we do like, and what we're good at actually. So I think it's that whole perception that young people often think that teachers live in a cupboard and kind of just come and teach. We don't. We have lives. We are people, human beings, but also as well, different people bring different things to a role. So don't ask us what they want to grow up. What problems do you want to solve? So thinking about the complexities and challenges we've got now of remote learning, climate change, the challenges around fake news, digital learning. What will I need to learn to be able to do that? Really, really interesting point there. So how do we support young people with that? So in terms of looking at careers within the curriculum, Gatsby benchmarks, and this is tough at the moment because some of these you just can't do it. Let's be honest. We've got a stable careers program. We've got a really strong program at Lambert School. Learning from career and labour market information, that's important. What's the local area look like? What's the regional area look like? What does the UK area look like? What does the global area look like in terms of careers learning? Address the needs of each pupil, linking curriculum to the careers, encounters with employers, experiences of a workplace. Very, very tough one to do at the moment with obviously all the challenges, but again, business stepping up to look at how they can look at that remotely, get people to talk about their careers, encounters with further and higher education. Feel very strongly about that one. As part of our Future Leaders program, I listened to Luke Sparks talk about Dixon's Academy, and they talk about having a, higher education, a university or a real alternative. That's what they want for all their pupils. That is a core value, played out in everything that they do. And looking at how we get those young people to that higher education, particularly of disadvantaged backgrounds. And then you've got personal guidance. And it's a very, very important part to say that. I really value our one-to-one guidance offered by qualified professionals who have got that those qualifications. Now, I will allude to, as I referred to earlier, We all remember that one-to-one guidance interview, and people can talk about, well, that was rubbish, because it'd be a one-off experience. But actually, if you wrap it around with that one-to-one guidance, who know what they're talking about, who've had that training, and wrap it around all these other key areas of the Gatsby benchmarks, that enables a rounded careers curriculum, rounded careers support to enable young people to then transition on to the next stage of education or training. So it's not just one thing. Practical ideas for the curriculum then. Clear systems, processes, and people. We've got a brilliant careers leader. She does, Laura Pyle, she does all the brilliant work around careers and coordinates it. As a senior leader, I don't have time to do that. But I need a careers leader there to work with me. I work strategically, so does Laura, but also operation as to what works. Linking subjects to progression routes. So linking your subjects to where there's progression routes, and then looking at how you can bring that into your curriculum. What are the skills required? And I'm not going to get into that big debate about, oh, it's knowledge, oh, it's skills. You need both. That's my opinion. And I challenge anyone to say you don't need both. Okay? You do need the knowledge, you do need the skills, and that's important. Give the students the opportunity to research career areas, find out what qualifications are required, find out what skills, involving teachers and curriculum leaders. Teachers are very busy people. I get that, absolutely, and they do amazing work. So how can you make it easier? How can you make it inescapable? How do you make it that actually it's about the culture, it's about values, but actually it's about being underpinning the curriculum, not sat on the periphery of the curriculum, making it really, really hard for a member of staff, because that's not what it's about. And if people have ideas, supporting those ideas and understand as a leader, it might fail, and that's absolutely fine. And then we'd unpick it, look at what went wrong, but more importantly, what learning has come from it, because it's about setting that culture, ethos, and values. And an opportunity to link subjects to businesses and providers. So how do we unite in how we face these challenges? And it's from working together. There's no perfect world. There never is. And not certainly what we're currently working within. So we've got to unite together and grapple and work with together on these challenges. Also as well, we've got to change some perceptions. So if you look at generation escalators here, we want some of our young people want to go straight in as CEOs. Absolutely brilliant. But you've got to work through a process, okay? And things are changing in terms of work and how we work. And some of our young people, and how they're resilient and how they can pick up with that learning and how they can adapt. Fantastic. Again, that should be celebrated. But it's about understanding, in some of these organizations, socially savvy, digitally savvy, there's no layers. Sometimes there's no hierarchies. Think of some of these organizations like Google, where there's no hierarchy, there's no structures, the promotions happen because they're based on your talents, your skills, down to hard work. So it's thinking about all these things in terms of we get those messages of communication across to young people. And the workplace, for most businesses, isn't this. And this comes again from a slide from Phil Jones. We've got a slide in there, we've got basketball. I'm saying in most organizations, because some it does, but in most it doesn't. And it's that perception versus the reality and how we get those messages across. Not to say there's anything wrong with that particular setup, but often it's that hard work that we all know, those hard yards we have to do to get to where we need to be, that difficult work that we don't want to do, but we have to do it. That's part of anyone's career. It's not just great all of the time, it's finding what you're great at and then practicing it, working on it, developing it, growing it. And it's about thinking about how we can learn from mistakes and understanding from young people we all make mistakes as leaders, as teachers, as support staff, in any walk of life. And that's okay, because we can learn from them. And it's also about who you are as a teacher, because it is what teachers think, what teachers do, and what teachers are in the level of the classroom, whether that's in a classroom or digitally, that ultimately shapes the type of learning for young people. So when we talk about careers in the curriculum and the learning that's gone on remotely this week, that's careers in the curriculum, because it's developing young people's knowledge and skills to help them. Just because year 11 exams are potentially cancelled, do we cancel all the lessons? No, because they need that underpinning knowledge to help them with the next stage of education or training, coupled with a careers program that supports college applications, apprenticeship applications, supports training provider applications, enables them then to move on to the next stage of education or training. Because we want to be optimistic and not negative. It's hard at the moment. And that's really an easy thing for me to say, let's be really positive, because it is tough, really, really tough. And those messages that we say to young people are really, really important, because they really do take them on board. Because I don't know about you, but leadership looks like this sometimes, but it ultimately feels like that, and it's tough. it's tough at the moment, and we've got to just take one day at a time. And there's going to be challenges, there's going to be things you don't have a clue. How do I do this? What do I do about that? It's about working together. And it's also about, our greatest question we have to ask ourselves every day: what are my values? How am I living them? How am I enabling? How am I growing? Is it worth it? And what about our well-being, and modeling that, and just making sure that we ask ourselves those questions about purpose, about our morally around careers education and access. Big question around devices, because young people need devices to be able to do all these things. They need internet access, and that's difficult and that's challenging, and that's as much challenging for careers as it is the curriculum as well. Because without collaboration, there's no creation. We all collaborate and share best practice, and hopefully you take away a couple of things today that will help you in your practice, will help you in your school, or even will help you in your classroom, just to help some young people with their futures. Just some examples of the great careers work that's gone on at Mount Lambert School. So we have a careers program available on our website. It's about 30 pages, a lot very, very detailed on there with all the things that we do. Also, as our new examples of what we've done. So our careers leader, Laura Powell, has put together newsletters for parents, very, very short and sharp. They're only a couple of pages long, because we have to change the way that we communicate as well, because there's lots and lots of information out there. It's about really, cutting that right back and looking at what's relevant, and lots of uncertainty. What about my next stage of education or training? What about my college application? What about my apprenticeship provider? Because I've got an assessment to do. We're going to have to think about how we support young people through these challenging times, because they will need support. So they're just some examples. Also, as well, I want to briefly talk about today, National Careers Week. So National Careers Week is a 10th year celebration, and it's all about celebrating great careers education. And there's a massive opportunity this year with National Careers Week is digital. Everything's on there is digital and is accessible. There's no paywall, doesn't cost anything. It's there for people to use and utilize. And it takes place from the 1st to 6th of March. It's only a couple of months away. We also have National Skills Days. That's coming up next month in Apprenticeship Week. Great opportunity to showcase apprenticeships for young people, which is a really good route to enable them to then move on into an organisation, get some experience. So that's next month, and that's Skills Builder in partnership with Skills Builder. So that's all about showcasing skills. More information on that to follow in the coming weeks. Get the date in the diary. So that is the 10th of February, and it's a Wednesday. So in terms of National Careers Week, this is very, very short synopsis. That will support the careers programme in school. I think this is perception with Careers Week, well, it's only a week in the year. Well, actually, National Careers Week provides a platform to enable you to improve and develop your careers programme right across the year. It's a celebration, a digital celebration this year of careers education, about promoting careers, about the importance of careers education. More detailed presentations are available on webinars on the 20th of January at 3:30. And we also have another one on the 26th of January at 12:30. And that's from my colleague, Andrew Bernard, who's going to lead on that, and has got an up and coming book I'm going to give a shout out to, The Ladder, which will be amazing. So check that out. And that's coming very, very soon. So there's also some resources to come with that as well with his book. So I really highly recommend that. So in terms of some of the careers resources we have available at National Careers Week, it's all free. Published the Future of Work Guide. That went crazy in terms of downloads. Lots and lots of people downloading that and reading that, and young people getting involved in that. That's a guide into what the future of work looks like, some of the challenges, some of the complexities, but also some of the opportunities. We've also got a lot of resources around careers in chemistry, and that was done with the Royal Society of Chemistry. Again, it's free. You can download all of these on the National Careers Week website. So it's absolutely free for you to download, and they're there. Really, really good resources, digital as well, for pupils to fill in and get access to that careers information. We also partner with a number of organisations across the UK in terms of, Careers at Sea, Institute of Motoring, Start Profile Global Bridge, Careers in Racing, Careers and Enterprise Company continues to do brilliant work, massive database of resources now available. So if you go to the Careers and Enterprise Company, There's a lot of resources available on there. And actually there's some resources that have just come out yesterday that are specifically designed for pupils with special educational needs. So lots and lots of resources on there to help with your careers program. And the one thing I would say is, you know your young people and best. So this is not me saying, look at all these resources, this is what you should be doing. They're just a pointer. They can be edited, they can be adapted for your context and for your particular school or your class. That's what it's about. It's about sharing that information to enable you to support those young people that with their careers learning. Notice I say information there, not guidance, because the two are very much different. Guidance is very, very specific. Information, education, but the guidance is very, very specific. So in terms of impacts, massive impact last year in terms of social media. The hashtag for this year is NCW 2021. So goes a bit crazy that week, but loads and loads of resources on there available. Also as well, if you want to contribute any resources, you can use the hashtag accordingly. And these are just some examples of, some of the social media posts. I appreciate that you'll see some young people on the ACB Big from last year. Lots of activity involving events. That's not going to happen this year. We understand that and appreciate that, which is why we've went digital this year. So National Careers Week is a digital celebration of careers this week. Not this week, 1st to 6th of March. Also as well, one to really look out for is our virtual careers fair. Again, a massive opportunity there to look at careers right across the UK. Some big players are coming to that, and there'll be different floors. No registration required. We're developing some remote resources at the moment just to make it easier. So don't think you have to sign up to anything, although I'd recommend signing up to the newsletter so you get all the updated information. No paywall, accessible for young people, parents, carers, teachers, leaders, businesses. Get involved because it's going to be a big one, the virtual careers fair. Also on Instagram, so lots of Instagram posts, social media, again, opportunity to showcase careers, an opportunity for young people to engage with some of that content. Lots of resources available, as I've alluded to, future of work, careers in chemistry. Resources are very accessible and editable, and also enables you to tailor those to your relevant area. It might be primary, it might be secondary, it might be pupil referral unit, might be special educational needs. So it's all there and it's always developing. So if you've got some ideas, please get in touch with us. We're keen to develop and grow and continue to really share those resources, because it's not about us. It's actually about the young people that we serve. So that's one thing I should say about why I'm involved in National Careers Week, because it serves a purpose greater than yourself. I'm very, very busy with my role in school. So if I can give some of my time outside of school to National Careers Week and the great work that goes on, it's about giving back. It's about, it's not about us. Careers Week is not owned by us. It's owned by young people and everyone who gets involved in it. That is actually what it's about. So in terms of, we also have a video channel, National Careers Week TV. Lots of information on there, particularly from BBC Bite Size, from our main sponsors, which are the NatWest Group, brilliant organisation who continue to do great work, giving back to the community. Lots and lots of information on there, and lots of accessible bite-sized videos that enables young people to watch through and discuss with apprentices and so on their careers, what the challenges were, what qualifications they had, what experiences they had, and what recommendations have. Again, just making it accessible and straightforward, and that's available on nctv.co.uk. Also did a great film last year with Dr. Radha Mongel, Hope. Great video, great resources to go with that. So if you're thinking Pichet resources, lots of information available there to support with. Also as well, we've got lots and lots of resources and content coming for the week from different providers for different career areas. There'll also be a timetable in the week for specific career areas for each day. So it gives you that focus, and that's coming in the coming weeks. And we are looking at remote learning, education, making it very accessible. So a set of instructions to enable you to pass that on to parents, carers and pupils. And finally, we've got National Skills Day is coming up next month. So that's about celebrating skills. Great opportunity, because everyone's got skills, to celebrate those skills. And that's in Apprenticeship Week, and that's on the 10th of February. Resources have just been finalised with Skills Builder, great partner, again, free for you to access, pass on to young people for them to engage in. And then these are just some examples of the resources we've got. So we've got Launch Yourself, and we've got some primary resources on here as well. We are doing a World Book Day in conjunction with National Careers Week, so 2 are joining, particularly for aimed at primary schools this year. So there's more resources coming for that. That'll make a great opportunity to kind of link the two, because I know we've had feedback in previous years to say, why are they both in the same week? Why can we not do something together? So we've listened to that feedback. And then we've got an overview of the plan for the week if you want to share that with young people. Again, all these templates are available on nationalcareersweek.com, all for you to utilize and share. And it will be a full pop-up site will be available in the coming weeks for you to utilize. I mentioned this already, but we've got the NCW TV. And again, this is an example of the pop-up sites. You've got sponsors, activities, principles is probably out the window now, but we have downloads of booklets, guides, home learning, Hope Film, NCW TV, and then you can contact us on there as well. So National Careers Week 2021, 1st to the 6th of March, Skills Day is 10th of February. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. I just wanted to finish with change, because we're all facing it, we're all challenging it. And this is from Jack Wills, actually. So change, you can fear it or you can let it happen. Either way, the world is turning. History is made every day. Bravery is choosing to move with it. Using where you're from, a reason to keep going, to break new ground. So take courage, hold integrity, burn with the spirit of youth and light the way forward. These are times of change, and we say move. So take care, stay safe. That's my presentation done. And I think the final thing I will say about careers in the curriculum is the courage of leadership is giving the others a chance to succeed, even though you bear the responsibility of getting things done. And it's about us as leaders stepping up to those challenges that we face, working together, collaborating, sharing to give those young people the best opportunities we can have in the curriculum through their careers program to enable them to move on to the next stage of educational training. So that's BrewEd done. I haven't been for a run yet today, so BrewEd's done. I'm off for a run. Have a great day, stay safe, and take care.